On the heels of devastating Hurricane Dorian, another tropical disturbance threatens the Bahamas tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Topping the news tonight, a tropical storm warning is in effect for the northwest Bahamas tonight. That area includes hard-hit Grand Bahama and Abaco, and the islands of Bimini and the Berry Islands, along with the island of New Providence. The warning means a tropical storm or tropical depression could form as early as tomorrow evening in the northwest Bahamas, bringing heavy rain and gusty winds. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us live tonight with the latest. Basil, this is not news that we want to hear, but we need to be informed on it nonetheless. What is the latest?
Oh, absolutely, and you summed it up quite nicely. It's going to be some strong gusty winds and heavy rains. That will be the focus of this system, but we continue to monitor it. Right now, the core of that disturbance is just to the northeast of Long Key in the southeast Bahamas. It is moving toward the northwest at about 8 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds at the core is about 30 miles per hour, and we anticipate that conditions are becoming more conducive for development, and that development could possibly take place over the northwest Bahamas sometime later tomorrow afternoon as it treks towards the Florida Peninsula. And should that happen, we can expect winds of about 39 miles per hour sustained with a higher gust, but the rains will be the major feature. So low-lying areas of the northwest Bahamas, there will be a problem with some flooding as a result of the heavy downpour. For us here in New Providence, we're looking at anywhere from about 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for the rains to start to pick up in earnest and intense. That will continue off and on right into Saturday afternoon, and by Saturday evening, we expect the core of the system to move pretty close to the Florida coast. As we'll go to our cone right now, just to give you an idea, this is where the system is right now. It's just an area of low pressure to the northeast of Long Key, as we said, and that will remain an area of low pressure as it treks into the northwest Bahamas, possibly, and I say possibly, becoming a tropical depression or a tropical cyclone late tomorrow afternoon. But by that time, it will be very close to Grand Bahama, and hopefully no further intensification. But if it does, it will reach tropical storm intensity throughout its life as it hugs the east coast of Florida, and that will eventually occur into the Carolinas sometime on early Tuesday. But for us, heavy rains will remain the major factor of this system with some gusty winds at times. Keisha?
Well, Basil, we learned sadly during Hurricane Dorian that things can change very quickly. We, of course, have ripe conditions in the Bahamas with those very warm waters. What are the possibilities for strengthening while still in our area?
Well, there is a reconnaissance aircraft flying through that system as we speak. Once that comes out later on this evening or tonight, we'll get some additional information about the anatomy of this system, and we'll be able to make some better decisions. So hopefully later on tonight, we can tell you whether or not they're able to find that center of circulation. And that is what we're looking for right now, a closed circulation which has not yet taken place.
Well, forgive me, Basil, if I'm going over something you may have said earlier, but what time period, what development should we be watching most closely for as this storm makes its move?
By tomorrow afternoon around 2 o'clock, somewhere in the vicinity of New Providence and the Berry Islands, a tropical depression could form. If conditions are much riper for development, and we'll know that once that aircraft comes out of that system, then we possibly can have a tropical storm. Tropical depression, meaning you will have winds of about 30-35 miles per hour sustained. If it reaches tropical storm intensity, on the low end, we're looking at 39 miles per hour. The good news is it is moving towards the northwest at about 8 miles per hour, and with that clip, by late Saturday, the system will be well to the north of us.
All right, Basil, and finally for our viewers, because we've come to learn how important this is a tropical storm warning. Who is this most important for, Basil, right now?
It's a tropical storm warning for a potential tropical storm. The warnings are in place for Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini, the Berry Islands, Eleuthera, and New Providence. Andros not in that mix, which will be the only island in the northwest Bahamas not under the tropical storm warnings. And I repeat those: Bimini, Grand Bahama, Abaco, the Berry Islands, New Providence, and Eleuthera.
Thank you very much, Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean, with the latest on a tropical storm warning in effect for the northwest Bahamas. We will, of course, come to Basil again as we make sure that that information gets through to everyone.